All right. I was trying to make sense of the Federal Reserve System today, try to make it click in my head as to what was going on and happening. So at one point in time, I got it into my head. I read somewhere that they were trying for a 3% annual, 3% uh, inflationary rate starting in 1914, and then Bernanke in 1994 claimed that it was supposed to be at 2%. That's when they started setting that goal at 2%. Well, I was punching numbers, being, a pain in the butt. If I went back, gave myself $1, which, they did, they printed themselves, let's say for every dollar printed in 1914, and then 3% interest annually, calculated out. Oh, length of years. 100 years. It means in 100 years would be at 1922. If we did it for 30 years, we would have gained $1.43 every 30 years, except for it's compounding, so it works out to be greater than that. So at 60 years, you get $5.89, yada, yada, yada. At 100 years, we had that $19.22 for every dollar that had been printed. Well, the problem is this is compounding, so the problem just keeps growing. So there we go, 143, 64 years at 420, 78 years we're at 340, 100 years, we've grown by $18.22. 110 years, it's $24. Well, the problem we're running into with the economy is that in 1964, the monetary supply had already increased by 13 times, a number it shouldn't have reached until 1987. I can prove that point if you go here. This is from the NewYorkFed.org media library. This is from 1964. It's a PDF. They stated that the demand deposits and currencies totaled $11.6 billion in 1914. They were still tied to the gold standard, so everything had to be backed by gold. So that's where the monetary supply was. Well, they said that in 1964, up here, that there was $155 billion in currency in circulation. Well, I was just, kind of bedinking away, and I thought, well, that's what it took to get to 50 years, and we know at 100 years, we should have printed $19.22 for every dollar we had in 1914 if we were sticking to that 3% inflation. Where are we at? Well, I couldn't do an entire snapshot or an entire calculation on it, but I did a small snapshot. I grabbed our student loan debt, which was at $1.24 trillion in 2014. I grabbed our total consumer credit card debt, which was outstanding at $700 billion. And then I grabbed our mortgages and I calculated it out at $8.17 trillion as of 2014, according to the credit reports. Well, that means that when you put it all together, right here, you do 112 trillion, you do a 700 billion, you do 8. I took off the zeros because the systems don't like really big numbers. I took it off, put it together, and this is what we break out at, is that we've increased by 64 times over where we were in 1964. That's just to 2014. If we take a look at where we were in comparison to 1914, it's 861 times greater than what it should be. That number wasn't supposed to be reached at that 3% inflation rate until 228 to 229 years. I mean, this is just ridiculous what they have done with the system. Can't figure out why you can't make things work bread-wise? Well, that's probably why. I wonder what our mortgage debt is in 2024. We're up to 20.83 trillion. So it's already doubled compared to what it was. Why can't anything, like, why does it feel like the system's about to implode and die? Probably because it is. They needed growth so much and they're willing to pump so much into artificial growth that they have outscaled the system by hundreds of years. Just think on that.